it's D2 week.
Yeah.
What's my title going to be?
This is your kingdom. The boss.
The boss.
The boss. Hey,
Jenny
that's
I'm
Gone.
back.
We are all here, and we're pleased to be joined on the line by a D2 star himself from the Colorado School of Mines. He's a senior. His name is Grant Colligan. He joins us now from a classroom on campus. Grant, thanks for coming on. How are you?
Hey, doing good this morning.
We are very happy to have you on. So you enter this week in the running for an individual title. Your school is also in the running for a team title. Can you just give me a little bit of insight how you are feeling mentally, physically, a few days out from the biggest race of the year?
Feeling good right now. We're in the middle of our taper, so you always get those little aches and pains that are just come with lower mileage. But overall, feeling good, loose, and ready to go.
Grant, can you tell me, for you, your team, and your coach, what went into the decision for you guys to race so sparingly, at least the varsity guys? Like, why have you and some of your kind of All-American teammates only raced twice this season ahead of nationals?
So going into the beginning of this season, we knew it was going to be a little longer, and so we wanted to focus more on getting in that base before really racing. So that's why we skipped out on that first meet in September. And then over these last couple weeks, we had pre-nats and then conference regionals, nationals. So if we would have raced all four, it would have been every 2 weeks for those four races. So we wanted to kind of limit the amount of total racing we were doing. So that's why we kind of sat during conference.
But was it difficult for you? I mean, specifically like at RMAC, skipping that meet. I mean, that had to be tough to watch that one go by without, you know, kind of facing the Adams State guys and challenging for a conference title.
Yeah, we kind of prepared for that mentally beforehand, and I feel that course really didn't suit our team all that well.
Okay.
It was dead flat on a 2K loop, and our guys just kind of aren't ready for that sort of race. And so it just made sense to kind of sit that one down, get in a big block of training before regionals, and then we came out strong.
So for you, even though it's been an abbreviated season, it's been a really good one. You've won both of your races. Tell me about your fitness now compared to a year ago when you finished 5th at nationals.
I would like to think it's significantly better. I definitely ran a lot more mileage than I did last year. Over the season, I probably averaged 85 to 95. And this year I've been over 95, closer to 100 for about 6 or 7 weeks. And then the workouts have just been going great. So definitely feel better than I did last year. But I feel like I'm a little bit more anxious knowing I was top 5 last year and trying to match that this year.
And what is the rivalry like between Mines and Adams State? Is it like a legitimate rivalry, or is there just a lot of like hype built up around it, or what's your thought on that?
I mean, from our perspective, it's like Oklahoma, Texas. Like, we don't like each other. At the end of races, there's like a good job here and there, but we really don't talk to each other all that much. I just feel like we're two different schools, and because we're so close, there's just that rivalry of having to see each other at every race, from just random invites all the way till nationals.
Yeah, do you have any like anecdotes from like the last time you guys matched up? Any fun interplay there, between you guys?
I don't know. It's especially in RMAC and regionals, it almost becomes a dual meet, and you'll run sections of the course where the Mines fans are there and they're just chanting for you and kind of chanting at the other Adams guys. And then it's the same thing when we go by the Adams fans. They're kind of chanting at you, and it kind of pumps you up both ways. But I don't know. It just, every time we go out, we're trying to beat Adams, just because they're kind of the highest level right now in D2. And so every time we show up, it's our goal is to beat them.
And what sense did you get of the course when you ran on it at pre-nationals? Because you guys got like a nice preview of the championship course there in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think it was a really eye-opening to see the course. It's different than what I've ran in the last 3 years. The 2K loop is definitely different than what we've run before. It's a pretty small park too, so there's probably going to be fans the whole way around, which is cool. But it's just going to be different than years past. When we ran it before, it was pretty wet, so it wasn't very fast. And then looking at the forecast now, it's going to be wet again. So just preparing for it being wet and kind of the different type of running you do when it's wet grass and mud compared to when it's dry and you can kind of move quicker.
I remember, Grant, a year ago after you guys finished third, you said afterwards that you guys were kind of hoping for some inclement weather, that Mines runs a little bit better when it's like that. With the strong chance of rain, is that something again you're hoping for? Are you hoping that it's wet? Are you hoping the course is a mess? Or does it really matter this year for you guys?
I think we're definitely hoping that there's some adversity. We like to think we strive when it's really crappy out. So looking at the forecast, I think it favors us a little bit just because we're kind of all those strength runners. None of our track times are spectacular, really, especially compared to the Adams guys and the Grand Valley guys. So anything where people can't really run away, especially from our 5, 6, 7 guys, it's good for us. And so seeing that it's going to be wet, we're really focusing on just staying strong this weekend.
Obviously, regionals, you have to take it with a grain of salt because you're just trying to qualify, and both you guys and Adams are good enough to qualify by not, running incredibly, hard. But you guys did beat Adams State at regionals. Did you get a sense of, how you compare to them at that regional meet? I know Sydney Gitabude would have probably been a little bit further up had that been nationals, but you won that race and won it by a pretty big margin. And again, you guys beat Adams State there. Are you looking at it going in that it's kind of you guys versus them, or what? How are you approaching nationals in regards to Adams State in your competition?
I mean, we kind of go into every race where it's us against Adams State. Grand Valley's always strong though, and a day when it's muddy, somebody can always show up that you're not expecting. So we're going into it thinking we have to put those 3 guys in the top 15 and have everyone else in the top 50. So just looking at it that way and trying to come in hard. As for regionals, we knew we resting conference and going into regionals, we were going to be strong. And then the course was also at altitude in a park that we've had a lot of success at. So I think we had a little advantage there. And then as for the individual title that happened at regionals, Coach Seamers and I kind of had a plan that I was going to go at 4K, but a K in, they gave me a gap and I just took off. And I don't think really Sydney or Marcelo really wanted to kind of chase me down. They knew that the goal is national, so if working too hard at regionals I don't think it was really worth it in their eyes yet.
The kind of just coming into this season, based on how they've done in the past, won NCAA titles. Zach Panning and Sydney Gitabude were kind of looked at as the 2 favorites. They both run well this season. How do you think you compare to them in the individual race? Based on your undefeated season and who you beat this season, it seems like you got a good shot to win an individual title as well. But like you mentioned, don't quite have the track times or performances of those guys. But how do you think you match up with those guys heading into Saturday?
I think I match up with those 2 pretty well. Again, I'm hoping this course will favor me over the last couple courses we've raced at, which have been flatter. I definitely don't have the kick and the speed at the end of the race that those guys have. So I'm hoping to be in it at the end and then see what can happen. And always if it's wet and muddy, it's going to be different. So hopefully I can kind of use that to my advantage and kind of maybe catch them off guard and get away or do something crazy. So hoping for a title.
Yeah, of course. Last couple questions. You were as a freshman, you were on Mine's one and only championship team in 2015. What did you learn from that experience? And how much confidence did that give you going forward with the rest of your career that, I mean, one, Adams State can be beat, and that you guys can win a title?
What kind of happened with that race was we were going into it and we had a terrible regionals performance, and Coach Seamers was kind of telling us, like, we got to run hard. If we get on the podium, that's a great day. And it was especially telling me and our fifth man, Seth, like, we're racing for the team. If you're 50th place and you catch 2 guys, that's still 2 points. And at the end of it, when we ended up winning, we kind of even surprised ourselves. And that was the first time we had ever beat Adams, and it kind of showed that they weren't like this on this pedestal with anything better than we have. It's all based on that day. So if we show up, there's always a chance to win, and that's kind of been the mentality from then on. We're now so close that it's whoever has a better day, and so we're always trying to be in there and kind of push hard on that day.
Well, great, Grant. Thanks so much for joining us today. I know you got to get out to Pittsburgh soon, so we'll see you out there. And again, good luck at Nationals on Saturday.
Hey, thank you so much.
All right. Grant Colligan.
Grant Colligan of Colorado School of Mines. D2, exciting weekend.
Yes.
He didn't have a mustache.
No mustache.
And you didn't comment on.
Well, he did at regionals.
For you, it's going away in Pittsburgh, right? That's the plan.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm gonna bring the razor to take it off. I've been a little under the weather this week and blowing my nose with this mustache. We don't have to go into too many details, but
you can't shave your stashy at Nashies.
Well, afterwards I can, can't I?
Afterwards.
That's what I meant, like after the race.
Post-race.
Yeah,
Okay,
post-race.
all right.
Oh,
Good,
no. This disgusting thing is totally for the purpose of being present in Pittsburgh.
Let's do more D2 talk here.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We heard the name Colorado School of Mines, obviously, with Grant. But we also heard Adams State a ton. And I think even casual observers to the sport, they always associate D2 success with Adams State. They come in as the favorite in both the men's and women's side. If one of the teams is to lose, who do we think would lose and who would beat them?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I do want to say at the beginning, that was awesome to hear him talk about no love lost for them in Colorado in Adams State, Grant Colligan. They really don't like each other. So I actually have Colorado School of Mines myself personally ahead of Adams State. So I'm choosing the Adams State men. I think they're a little bit more vulnerable than the Adams State women. Both of them are coming back trying to win repeat titles. So I think Colorado School of Mines is the team to kind of dethrone the Adams State juggernaut. And again, I have them number 1 by virtue of their defeat at regionals. We know regionals it's kind of a crapshoot. You never really know what's going on. So in my rankings, it's kind of Colorado State 1A or Colorado School of Mines 1A, Adams State 1B because they're so close. And I could easily see Adams State being up there just knowing their history of succeeding. But Colorado School of Mines, they have Colligan, who I think can win. I think his point about 1, the course being wet, that suits them. And then 2, that familiarity of the course is going to be a big deal there. They have 4 All-Americans coming back. I like this team. They ran well last year. Of course, it wasn't good enough to beat Adams State, but having that experience on the course, they're going to be totally fresh. They've only raced twice this season, not even at conference. So Colorado School of Mines is the team I like to dethrone the Adams State men.
Mm-hmm. My pick. I did some reading on this. Did some research.
Yes.
Uh-oh. A well-read Kevin.
I read the great Lincoln Shrike.
There you go.
Foremost authority on this stuff. He called the You Marry Women the quote-unquote ultimate sleeper. The ultimate sleeper. I'm going You Marry Women.
Yes.
They have Emily Roberts. She's back.
There you go.
She ran, we see that I think it's the Western
Colorado
women, right?
Yes.
Which that's a spoiler alert for Jenny's pick
coming
up in a second.
Thanks.
You Marry Women, very deep, 1 through 5. I mean, when you look at the way you broke down the women's race, right? You have Adams State as the favorite, but you think individually it's going to be Western Colorado dominated up there in the top 3, which gives kind of room for other teams to get in there. Roberts, as you're saying, was at Southern Indiana, 1605 5K. Yeah. Now at You Marry, but I think it goes beyond her, right? There's more than just one runner there.
Absolutely. So they had 4 All-Americans last year, and they,
look at them biting the medals. They're hungry. They're ready.
So the story with Roberts is she just kind of had a down couple of years with injury, but in 2015 and 2016 when she was on on her top form. She was 5th 2 years in a row at nationals. All of a sudden, she finished right behind Jaden Shute, their number 1 at regionals. So that showed me both those ladies should be All-Americans. They have a girl who was 12th a couple years ago who's back running on form. They have somebody who was in the top 30 last year in Kate Fox. And then their 5th, Brie Erickson, as I think a freshman last year, was 55th. So, I mean, pretty close to a matter of seconds away from All-American. So,
So I'm right, basically.
You're right.
Okay,
You're right.
cool.
They're the ultimate sleeper.
Ultimate,
They're the ultimate
well,
sleeper.
me quoting you was correct, like Michael Scott quoting Wayne Gretzky. Jenny.
Yeah, unsurprisingly, I'm going to disagree with you there, Kevin.
Oh.
I'm going to go with the Western State women because of their potent top 3. So,
Yes.
Sophie Stewart, she's come on very strong this season. She's been frequently the number 2 runner, and the Konachek sisters. So, Sophie Stewart and the Konachek sisters sounds like a band name, but really it's going to be
Cool
the
band name.
top 3 for Western State. After that, they've got 2 other really strong runners. They've got Kennedy Rufner. She transferred from Western Oregon.
Yeah,
and
she was top 5 in the 10K.
Yeah, she took 4th.
Yeah.
And then Chloe Andre. I mean, they're going to need a really good day from her in order to pull off the upset there. But she was 94th back in 2016, and since then she's made some really big strides forward. So
yeah, and you never know who can jump up and be an All-American. There's always freshmen that are All-Americans that we didn't even talk about at all. But yes, with the top 3 they have, they're certainly going to be in contention there. So
On the site this week, we had a comparison between D2 and D3 teams. Actually, D3 teams, right? And where they would fit. Also D2 as well.
yes,
too.
all 3 divisions compared to how they would finish.
How they would finish. Not surprisingly, Adams State looks pretty strong for the men. But individually, of anybody in this race, men or women, who had the highest potential to finish high up there in the men in the Division I race?
Yeah, so we're always like, who we're looking at D2 results and we see their track times and we see them dominating D2 cross country and we're like, wow, would these guys be like All-Americans in Division I? And it's always tough to predict, but one guy I don't think is tough to predict, Sidney Getabude of Adams State. He's got a 13:29 5K best, so that's right up there with I'm not saying he's Grant Fisher, but that's right up there with Grant Fisher's PRs.
You gotta like Grant Fisher.
And the way specifically the D1 race went this year, obviously Getabude won't be racing there, so it doesn't matter. But kind of tactical. Everyone was together that last 2K or so, all the top 10-ish guys, and then it came down to a furious last 400 or so. Getabude, I think he's running about a 401 mile. Again, he's got that 13:29 speed, and he's been top 10 in D2 cross before. I like Getabude and his 13:29 speed to be maybe a top 20 guy in Division I. Again, this is all hypothetical. This will never happen. So
I like the pick. I like the 13:29, but terrible analysis on your part. The answer is Zach Panning. You're talking about a guy who's finished top 10 in D2 cross. Give me the guy who's finished top 5 all 3 years.
There you go.
You want to talk parallels to Grant Fisher? It's that man right there, Zach Panning. He has a 5K track title.
He does.
Just like Grant Fisher. He's incredibly consistent, just like Grant Fisher. He probably has a friend named Grant, just like Grant Fisher. He was second last year. I think it's tough to just look at PRs and extrapolate it.
Sure.
The consistency, I think he'd finish the highest.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Yeah.
That's a good pick.
Jenny?
Oh, well,
Save us from this male-dominated picture.
Yeah, no worries. Hold on to your butts, though. I've got some super scientific analysis here.
Here we go.
So, yeah, just looking at, going back to Alicia Konachek, she's the D2 steeple record holder and the indoor mile record holder. And I thought, you know who's also a really good steepler, who's also good at cross country? Allie O. So at Outdoor Nationals this year, Alicia's steeple PR would have gotten her second behind Allie.
Oh.
Do you know that, Lincoln?
Did you know that?
I didn't know that. I did not.
Yes.
I didn't compare the
and
times.
so stay with me here. I know we kind of went off the tangent. We're talking about track now. But
that's fine.
Allie O got 6th at Cross Nationals. Therefore, by the transitive property,
this is getting very
Alicia
important.
would have been 7th. So that's how she would have finished.
Top 7.
Wow. Top 7 would be awfully strong, considering that her best D2 performance is 11th.
Yep.
But
that was back in 2016.
No, you're right.
And actually,
You're
I think it
right.
was 10th.
Okay.
I'm going to check the D2 expert on his knowledge
Can
here.
I change my pick?
Yeah.
That was very convincing.
That was.
Yeah.
Lincoln.
Science.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the IAAF.
Let's talk about the IAAF Athlete of the Year nominees, the 5 finalists. They're announcing it next Tuesday, so by the time we do another edition of your favorite show, they'll already announce the winners. So the finalists are, for the women, Dina Asher-Smith, Shauna Miller-Webo, Katerina Barguin, Nafi Thiam. and Beatrice Chepkoech. There's a look there at Shawnee Miller. And on the men's side, Abdurrahman Samba, Kevin Mayer, Eliud Kipchoge, Manu Duplantis, Christian Coleman. Lincoln, I think you know where I'm going with this, but I'll let you guys talk first.
Okay. Do I need to talk about the women or the men
You
first?
can talk about whatever you'd like.
The men's finals are just, it's crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
the only, if you want to say the weak link of that incredible quintet of gentlemen there.
Kipchoge, right?
I think the weak link is crazy. I think it's Christian Coleman. I mean, he ran essentially one good race. You look at Samba, the guy went, what, undefeated throughout?
Whoa. We're counting indoor and outdoor. So Coleman gets credit for the indoor world record.
Oh, we are talking, okay.
Yeah.
But
Athlete
I guess
of the year, not just
you're
the
right.
outdoor
So he did
sport.
win the world title and also broke the world record. You're right. No, Christian Coleman deserves to be up there. But, I mean, Kipchoge 201, Mayer a world record. He beat Ashton Eaton. So, I mean, beat Ashton Eaton in anything is incredible. But, I mean, Kipchoge's got to be the winner there. And I think, we had the graphic up there as well. I mean, Shawnee Miller deserves to be the champion there. So consistent over 400 and 200 meters. And the women's race is definitely, in my opinion, a lot more wide open. I think you got to give it to Kipchoge on the men's side. But, you never know.
Yeah, I agree with you on Shawnee. It's been, since 2009, the last time we saw a sub-49 performance. And, I think she's got way more upside, too. That was a non-championship year. And I think when she gets another, solid year of training under her belt, she's going to be, I don't know. She said in an interview she was targeting 47. And honestly, I could see it maybe a high, maybe a
That's exciting.
47.99. I don't know, but she's quick and she's, I think it's certainly, going to be the front runner there. I also have a very extremely super spicy hot take on why Kipchoge wouldn't win Athlete of the Year.
Do that one, and then I'm going to go pure fire on the women's field.
Okay, cool. So yeah, he really only competed twice. Okay. And yes, one of them was a world record. True. But we're talking about Athlete of the Year, right? Yeah. Not just the athlete of a couple of months.
Well, then you got to take out Kevin Mayer, too, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I threw him out of there, because if we're doing Athlete of the Year.
Wait, you're going to give this to Samba?
Yeah, I am. He was undefeated. He almost ran a world record. I think he was undefeated in, 9 finals? Mm-hmm. So if you're going to talk about Athlete of the Year.
Didn't race Ry Benjamin, though.
Yeah.
No, he did not. You're right.
I mean, that's not his fault, but.
It's almost like these things are impossible to segment because they're different events.
Yes.
The women's finalists, it's tainted incredibly by not having Caster Semenya.
Oh yes.
In this
okay.
field. This is, and I don't use this word lightly. This is a disgrace and a joke that she's not in here.
Yeah.
She was 8-0 this year in finals.
Yep.
Cementing 3 years in a row where she hasn't lost an 800-meter final. She put up the 4th, 6th, and 8th fastest mark all time in the 800. This year. Nobody dominated their event. Nobody had fewer questions going into a race about who was going to win than Caster Semenya in the women's 800 of track races. Beyond the 800, she was number 4 in the year in the 400. A lot of people forget about that. And she was also top 10 in the 1500. So 400, 800, 1500. Not taking anything away from the women on these lists. Obviously, they're very accomplished. But we're not idiots. The reason she's not on this list has nothing to do with the fact that there's 5 women better than her. It has everything to do with the fact that the IAAF still hasn't figured out the hyper-androgynous policy. And rather than give her credit for her season, which she competed in fairly, right? Yeah. There was no rule in place this year. They're being very punitive and very petty by keeping her off this list. And look, reasonable people, I think, can disagree on that policy, right? I've heard arguments whether or not they need to change the rule as it relates to regulating testosterone on both sides, and whether or not they don't. But the fact remains, she was eligible to compete this year. She ran those races, right? You can't say, oh, you ran these races, but they don't count because in the future, you may be not eligible to compete. Or in the future, the way your biochemistry is may not fit for this. No, and that's 100% what this is about. I would have had more respect for this decision if they just said at the beginning of the year, you're not eligible for the award. Yeah. Because to put out a list with 5 women in it in 2018, we all watched the races. So to put out a list of 5 women in 2018 that doesn't include Caster Semenya is insulting our intelligence. And like I said, you can disagree or agree with what the Court of Arbitration of Sport is going to rule next year, but that's a next year thing. Yeah. That's not a this year thing. So to do it is it's just laughable when I look at that list.
And forgive my my ignorance here, but how are these 5 athletes or how do they? Is it just up to IAAF's discretion?
There's
Yeah,
a
community decision, right?
25% is fan vote, and then the other 75% comes from IAAF, the IAAF family or IAAF members voting on it. So I don't know how large the fan vote was. I have a hard time believing that there was a fan revolt against Caster Semenya.
But I think when they put the fan vote out, because I do remember seeing that on social media now, it wasn't just like an open forum. Like they gave like a selection of athletes to choose from and to vote for.
Sure.
So she wasn't even on that list.
Either way, I mean, you're going 5 deep here. I mean,
No,
let's
it's
just.
shameful.
Oh no, I'm not saying
It's
that's
shameful.
An excuse.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just saying like they had already counted her out. Like the fans couldn't even weigh in.
Yeah,
you know?
well, and like I said, let's just strip away the pretense here. This isn't about 5 athletes being better than her. This is about not including her in this because they don't want the bad PR or bad press that comes with it. And it's similar in a way. Track almost had to deal with the same issue in 2013 with Justin Gatlin. Although Justin Gatlin didn't end up winning at Worlds, or was it 13 or 15? Am I forgetting?
I feel like 15.
15,
yeah.
excuse me. So
when he dominated, but he didn't win Worlds. Yeah.
Track had to deal with the same thing in 2015. Now, much different situation. The doping suspensions in Gatlin's past were 100% Gatlin's fault. Semenya's issue, no one is blaming Caster Semenya. Even the harshest critics aren't saying Semenya did anything wrong. But it was the same situation where, oh man, if Justin Gatlin beats Bolt, right? Because he had a perfect season up to that point. He was on fire. If he beat Bolt in the 100 and the 200, what were they going to do?
Yeah.
But if they're running the races, they're eligible to receive the awards, right?
Yeah.
That's not going to make it go away. By not giving Caster Semenya this award, it doesn't make her accomplishments any less. It just makes you lose a bunch of credibility and make you look small for trying to penalize her for
and the
some
fact that she wasn't even on the short list.
Yeah.
You know, it's frankly, it is absurd.
Oh, it's just shameful because I mean, not only has she competed when she's been dominant like this, but she even competed in 2015 when they made her do all the therapy and take. Listen, I'm not trying to say I fall on one side of things, but all she wants to do is run.
Yep.
And then when she does run,
She still gets penalized.
She's
right,
she's
in
just
some way,
damned
shape,
if
or
she
form.
does
Yep.
and damned if she doesn't.
Yeah.
It's you really feel bad for her and they've handled this and from a PR standpoint. I know the IAAF doesn't get the scrutiny of the NFL or the NBA, but for them to think that leaving her off is a better PR decision than it is than putting her on.
Well,
is incredible.
We talked about this in the House of Run and this week, and Jason, my co-host, pointed out the PR thing would have been invite Shauna Miller-Weibo because she was undefeated, invite Beatrice Chepkoech because she had a world record, invite those 3 because no one's arguing with those 3. And then just say, okay, Chepkoech gets it because she set the world record, right? You could have then drawn like a credible line that said, okay, well, or Shauna Miller-Weibo was so dominant in the 200, it was in the 400, it was completely undefeated. Then you could have been like, okay, well, we know what you did, but at least you had the decency to do it.
Put her on the short list at minimum, but still, it's wrong.
Yeah,
like,
this is both incorrect and poorly handled, like from a public relations standpoint. I don't really care about the public relations standpoint of it. I more care of the fact that they expect us to buy that these are the 5 that are here. Like, there's literally nothing else she could have done. I mean, in the next 10, 15 years, name a woman who's going to be able to be top 10 in the 4, 8, and the 15.
Right.
I mean, that's absurd.
And she ran it like it's not like she was like, oh, I just run in South Africa. She went so far as to even run at the Continental Cup and run that. I mean, she ran every IAAF. I mean, we shouldn't even be talking about looking at, did she make any missteps? Of course she didn't. It's just
there was no bigger lock. And the irony of all this is, I think, they pushed that ruling back to March, right? Because they want to make it all neat and tidy before the season starts, and they know an appeal is coming from Semenya's team. It's going to get thrown out. Even critics of, and even people who think that there should be a line drawn in the sand and that there should be regulations for testosterone, they think that the study that the IAAF used was so shoddily put together that it's going to end up getting thrown out anyway. So, okay, so it gets thrown out in March. Semenya goes undefeated again.
Yep.
Are we going to be in the same seat
Probably.
next year? Okay, cool. Then I'll just copy and paste this, and we'll just plug it in.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right after D2 content.
Piece of evergreen content. Just run it again next year.
On lighter news, we'll close out here.
Yeah.
Unless you guys wanted to add something else.
Man, I just looked at the list of people, and you just made my analysis look. And Lincoln's too. We didn't bring up Semenya at all, but you had that in your back pocket. My take was
I know.
I spoke too soon.
I mean, I knew Kevin had a.
I've been yelling about it.
I should have remembered from House of Run, but
Okay. No, but I like this. I like the Kipchoge take.
only ran twice.
I like that good one.
Let it be on the record that I do not like that take. But
It's a take.
Hey,
it's not the correct take.
Yeah.
It's a take.
Yuki Kawuchi doesn't limit himself to 2 marathons.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Ilya?
Yeah.
The problem, the whole thing is fraught with issues.
Oh yeah,
right.
I mean,
Like in terms
the
of
track, like you said, it's not analogous.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah, it's
So-
the ultimate apples to oranges to pears. But sometimes something so egregious happens.
Yeah.
Yes.
That I think it needs to be highlighted. So let's close out here. Let's talk a little about Sydney McLaughlin again.
Hey.
She got a coach, Joanna Hayes, USC coach, a gold medalist in the 2004 100-meter hurdles. Will be coaching Sydney in Los Angeles. Lincoln, you said it best. She needed a coach. Now she has a coach.
Yeah, I mean, we knew even before she signed with New Balance that it wasn't going to be Coach Flo. Coached her at Kentucky, and she had so much success. She ran 52.75. But aligning herself with her agency, I think, being out in LA with close to WME and being out in Southern California made sense. And I think it's a great choice. We figured it was going to either be Hayes or Bobby Kersey, who coaches Allison Felix, and somebody with her hurdles experience, even if it isn't her specialty, the 400 hurdles. It makes perfect sense to me. And she probably wants to work on that 100-meter speed. And so, maybe that's a weakness for her that she wants to. Obviously, she'll be training for the 400
she ran
hurdles.
11:09. I don't know if it's a weakness, but
Well, in the world of Sydney, 11:09 is.
yeah, it's true.
Right. I mean, it's not near a world record like it is with like her specialty. So
Okay, so yeah, if she doesn't run near a world record in an event, that is probably a fault for her, right?
But I like the
That's how
coach.
good she is.
She needs to clean it up.
It's good that she has a
Clean it
coach now. It took her a bit to sign with a sponsor. She's ready to go. She's hopefully getting set to be ready to challenge for a gold medal in Qatar, which is now less than a year away. Go ahead, Jenny.
I think this is a good move for her, especially considering the fact that Joanna Hayes, she's competed on the global stage in the 400-meter hurdles. She obviously is a gold medalist in the 100-meter hurdles. She's got a good blend of experience both on both fronts, and also the 100-meter hurdles are very, very technical. She'll be able to bring insights there to Sydney's work in the 400-meter hurdles. And then, after Sydney, which I mean, everybody knows what I think about Sydney, but I think she's going to be taking down the world record in at least the next year or two. So then, once that happens, maybe she shifts her focus. Maybe she goes down to the shorter sprints and tries to make some ground there, or maybe the shorter hurdles. I don't know. She's so multi-talented that if you told me that she was going to try to make a go at that, it wouldn't shock me really. So I think it's a good move.
I mean, what do you think, Evan?
And also, Joanna Hayes, you look at the hurdlers at USC, and that record speaks for itself, both men's and women's side.
Yeah.
Obviously, she works with Rye Benjamin.
Yep.
But the USC women's hurdle squad was really strong, both in the highs and the lows. Obviously, this puts her in LA, so now we know for certain she's going to be in LA. And if Wes Felix is her agent, Allison's brother, that to me might be interesting. If they eventually do work together, you're going to get a lot of mentor, mentee, protege sort of stories coming out. That's pretty fascinating to me. And maybe when Felix retires, there's she'll kind of move into a bigger group. I mean, I'm just kind of curious of the logistics, if Hayes is coaching her while she's at USC, who's she going to be working out with? But
yeah, that was going to be my
so
question. Who do you
fast.
think her training partner is going to be? Her number one? When she's doing 400-meter hurdle workouts and such. Who do you
There's
think?
nobody.
I mean, right, but who do you think she's going to be? She can't just be doing all of it alone.
Well, I
she's
know
going to
she
have to
did.
maybe run with.
She made the Olympic team out of Union Catholic.
Well,
training,
true.
but no, you're
Wow.
right. You're
She
right.
didn't have any peers there.
Yeah.
If you didn't see
so-
Union Catholic shade coming on today's show, then
But
there you
to get to the, I don't
Yeah.
know. I do think it is beneficial to have a really strong training partner, and
course.
especially when she's trying to.
Or even
Her sights are set so much higher now, too. So
Well, even a someone who could run a quick flat forward,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
To work out with her and
Yep.
stuff like that. Yeah, I just don't know. I mean, that's stuff that we're going to have to figure out. But at the very least, we know that she'll be in LA, so she's going to be around a bunch of people who can provide that sort of service to her. I don't know what limitations there are with different sponsors with coaches, because a lot of that's tied in with who you can work with and who you can't work with. So I don't know if that was at play here. But obviously, I mean, Joanna Hayes' record as an athlete is incredible, but her coaching has been phenomenal too. I mean, she started out as a high school coach. She coached at Harper Westlake in LA before moving on to being a coach at USC, and their team this year was really fueled by the hurdles, especially on the women's side of things. I mean, they were great in all the sprints, but particular hurdles. So just another story to watch.
Good selection.
Good selection. Lincoln endorses it.
She can't make a wrong choice, you know.
Stamp of approval.
That's true.
Lincoln
It's
Strike.
there. All right. That's it for this week's show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thanks to Grant Colligan for joining us. D2 NCAA Cross Country Championships are on Saturday live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, featuring Lincoln.
Myself,
and his mustache
myself,
for a
and
limited
Tyler
time
Pinnell,
only.
who, if we remember, he was kind of the guy that pushed the pace in the 2016 Olympic marathon trials.
Yeah.
He's a former Western Colorado All-American. He'll be on the mic with me on Saturday, so excited for that.
Exciting stuff.
Yeah.
And then we're on. Oh, and also the BU meet is on
Yes.
Saturday.
It is on Saturday.
On FloTrack. There's a lot of
It's
fast
going to be
people.
a 5K Palooza. Entries
Ooh.
are on FloTrack
Can
right
I say
now.
some of them?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I didn't know if that was embargoed. Wayne Kaladi, Edna Kurgat, Ali Ostrander, Ali Ostrander. That sounded
my
weird when I
God.
said it.
Yeah.
Sharon Lucchetti, Lauren LaRocco, Elise Cranny. The list goes on and on.
Yeah,
Charlotte
it's very
Prowse, Dorcas Wasike. That could be really quick. So that's on. That should be really quick. That's
Yeah.
on Saturday as well. So check all that out. Indoors already started. Cross country's not over.
Yeah,
I was gonna
wild.
say, oh, and then we're on to indoor, but then I caught myself. Oh wait, indoor starts literally the same day.
Yep.
Cross
Well,
country's wrapping
actually, there's the Blue and Gold Invitational, which is on November 30th.
up. The
Indoor
hints
now
keep
starts before cross-country
Country's-
ends. It's crazy.
Well, so here's the crazy thing. Next year, right? Outdoor, because of Doha, goes
Yep.
all the way to October. So
Yeah.
outdoor is going to overlap cross country. So like outdoor and indoor, outdoor is going to end in October and indoor is going to start in November. So if we get one team to like
Yeah.
bump a meet up to October,
Yeah.
I want to have all 3 seasons
At one.
In one
once,
month.
like a solar eclipse.
That would be.
layers.
That's where we're heading, folks.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you everybody for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys next week.
See ya.